وسلم على سيدنا محمد الآخرين وصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, how's everyone doing? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. So, inshallah ta'ala, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us inshallah ta'ala. Sayyid Ahmed is not feeling well today. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him shifaan kamilan inshallah ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cure our beloved teacher inwardly and outwardly, ameen ya Rabbil Alamin. And then he requested that should just take the class inshallah ta'ala. So we are not deserving of sitting here actually, but because of the request of our teachers, we're doing this inshallah ta'ala now. Ahmed told me that I have to do the chapter of istinja with you. Is that what you are to do today? No. Jazakumullah khair. Hussein? Just give me 1 minute quickly. Before you reach this morning. So did you finish the completed the wudu? Finish the wudu. سيد أحمد. تمام. ما شاء الله تفضل.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فصل: والاستنجاء واجب من بول والغائط، والأفضل أن يستنجي بالأحجار ثم يتبعها بالماء، ويجوز أن يقتصر على أن يقتصر على الماء أو على 3 أحجار ينكي بهن محل، فالإرادة الاقتصار على أحدهما فالماء أفضل. ويجتنب الاستقبال القبلة واستدبارها في الصحراء، ويجتنب البول والغائط في الماء راكد وتحت شجرة مثمرة وفي طريقة وهل وثقب ولا يتكلم على البول والغائط، ولا يستقبل الشمس والقمر، ولا يستدبرهما.
طيب. Do you have a portion in the ولا يستنجي بيمينه؟ طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. This chapter obviously is speaking about the chapter of istinja. What is the meaning of istinja? So the origin word comes from najawtu. So if you say naja is someone that actually you're saving yourself from something. Okay? When you say najawtu min al-adu, meaning you cut yourself from this adu, the enemy. They say najawtu min al-adu, meaning I got rid of the enemy, and I cut myself. I was able to cut myself from the enemy. That is obviously the lugha meaning, linguistic meaning, and the shar'i meaning is no. Allah. No. Is that you clean off from that which come out of the private part, okay, which is filthy, and al-khariju, al-najisu, which is filthy, that comes out from the private part, min al-farji, it comes from the private part, and you clean it from the private part. So take note, it's the filth which is that comes from the private part, and you clean it from the private part. Meaning, if there's filth somewhere else, then do you call it istinja or don't you call it istinja? So if someone is bleeding, then what does he do? He cleans himself, isn't it? When we say bleeding, because blood from a Shafi point of view is najis. Blood from a Shafi point of view is najis. Naam. Naam. So if blood is najis, and I want to clean that blood, do we call it istinja or don't we call it istinja? We don't call it istinja because istinja is only pertaining to the private parts now. It's only pertaining to the private part. So the moment we're cleaning something that came out, the condition, it came out of the private part, and you're now cleaning the private part from that which came out of the private part, now it's called what? Istinja. Istinja now. Tamam. And istinja, Jama'at al-Muslimin, is obviously, it is compulsory for a person that urinated or he had a number 1 or a number 2, like we say, it is wajib that he must what? Make istinja. Now. But the thing is now that we're going to discuss, inshallah ta'ala, is how do a person make istinja? How do a person make istinja? And istinja, we have what we normally call al-istinja'u bil-hajar. I think we all heard about al-istinja'u bil-hajar. What's the meaning of hajar? Hajar, stone. Now. So when they say al-istinja'u bil-hajar, what do they mean? Clean yourself with what? With a stone. Now. But inshallah we're going to explain what's the meaning of a stone. So normally, before they used to use stones to actually make istinja. To remove the feces, they use a stone, and then sometimes they use the water after that. Now. So it's permissible for you, firstly, it's permissible for you to either use the stone or to use the water. Okay? Or you can, but the best is to use what? The stone and the water. I'm still going to explain what's the meaning of stone. Eh? ما معنى الحجر? I'm going to come there, inshallah. I'm going to explain you what's the meaning of the stone. So, if you have an option in between water and stone, what is the best? Water is the best. Tamam. But the best is to use both the stone and the water. And to first use the stone and then the water. Tamam? No. But what is the meaning of stone now? So firstly we say they use the fuqaha, they use the term stone for what? Because it was a popular thing that was used to clean a person's self those times. But the meaning of stone is kullu jamid, anything that is what? Jamid. What's the meaning of jamid? Anything that is? Naam. And kullu tahir, anything that is pure, jamil. And anything that is qali'. What is qali'? Meaning it removes. And it is غير محترم. What is غير محترم? What is something which is محترم? What is ihtiram? Something that is naam. So it must not be something that is honorable from an Islamic point of view. Tamam? So the meaning of a stone that you can use for istinja, to wipe yourself basically, your back part and your front part, is, first thing, it must be something solid. Something solid. It must be something that is pure. It must be something that removes the najasa. It must remove the najasa. And it must be something that is not honorable from Islamic point of view. The Jama'ah with me? Jameel. So if I say, if someone make istinja with a plastic bag, question, can you make istinja with a plastic bag? Is it permissible? Plastic bag is solid. Plastic bag is pure. Huh? Can you? Huh? that? It's غير قالع. It's too smooth. It does not remove. It must have some roughness into it that it will remove. So toilet paper, can we use toilet paper as a hajar? As a hajar. Can we use toilet paper? Yes, you can use toilet paper because toilet paper has the qualities, has all these shurut, all these conditions, meaning it is something that is pure, it is something that is solid. I know you get those cheap toilet papers at... Huh? What if I like to plan? No. I know you get those cheap toilet papers when you... Look at this understanding. When you wipe and then it, it vanishes as you wipe. That's why Allahu Akbar. I don't even know what's the ruling of the toilet paper, subhanAllah. No, because it must be something that is solid, that removes the najasa. So if you take sand, you can't use sand because sand is not solid. No. But you can use a stone, you can use a piece of wood, you can use a piece of paper, newspaper, you can use... No. Can I use paper of a book? Huh? It depends what's in the book here. It depends what's in the book now. Jameel. So it depends what's in the book. If it's honorable stuff, Islamic stuff, or if it is normal stuff, and then, if it's just information, the news that's going around, then you can use it. Newspaper. Can newspaper be used as a hajar? So the moment I use the term hajar, you must know now, it indicates to the stone, but the stone means what? It means anything that you can use to wipe the back part clean and the front part. No. Am the Jama'ah with me? طيب. Jameel. Can I use a piece of dung to make istinja with? A hard piece of cow pieces. Can I use it? We can't. Why not? It's not pure now. The istinja won't be counted. Tamam. Allah. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad. طيب. So now that you know what you can use for istinja, remember now that we said you can either use water or you use first the hajar. When I say hajar, you must know now what your mind must go towards. Can be anything, eh? It doesn't just mean a stone. When I say hajar now, can mean toilet paper, can be anything. So it's permissible for you to use either the hajar on its own, or the water on its own, or the hajar and the water. But then the water is obviously, the hajar must come first, because there's no reason then to use the hajar after the water. Okay? There's no reason using the hajar. When I say hajar, let's use it as you imagining toilet paper now. Using toilet paper, there's no use really to use toilet paper after you have made istinja with water. Tamam? Although some people, they dry themselves, but that won't be considered of the sunnah of the istinja. The sunnah of istinja is first to wipe and then to wash. First to wipe and then to wash. You mean? We're going to speak about something now, and that is, if someone, we said there's few ways. We said you can either just wipe, you can either just wash with water, or you can wipe and wash. Tamam? But now if someone wants to wipe only, and this is we need to speak about, if someone just want to use the hajar. What is the hajar? Tahir, jamid, qali', ghayr muhtaram. These four conditions. Okay? Something that is pure, something that is solid, something that will remove the najasa, and something that is not honorable. Jamil. If you're only going to use, it's permissible for you to only use the toilet paper or that hajar only. It's permissible for you to use the hajar, but then there are conditions for that. There are conditions for that. Now, the book that we mentioned a few. Now, if you're only going to use toilet paper, we said it's permissible, but with these conditions. So, Jamaatul Muslim, you must take note of these conditions, and you will understand certain things as well. You will know that there are certain things that are obviously permissible, and there are certain things that actually many of us, we make mistakes in it. Now, so the first thing is Allah yajif al-najis. Okay? That the najasa that came out, must not become dry. It must not get dry. Tamam? So if someone made a number 2, and then the stool that came out, the feces that came out, it got dry onto his skin. If he take whatever he takes to wipe it, is it going to remove it? It won't remove it. So that is condition number 1. It should not get dry. Wasn't said too long. But that's true, eh? That's one of the sunnahs actually of the etiquettes of the adab of dukhul khala. Is not to sit too long in the toilet. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the etiquettes of the toilet. Ameen ya Rabbal. The other condition is that nothing else, foreign subject or foreign object, must actually attach itself to that najasa. So, if something like what? Sweat is different, eh? Sweat runs down, maybe from your back. Yeah, alhamdulillah, yeah, we're very lucky at Jamaatul Muslimin. I know sometimes we laugh, but go into some countries that is where the degrees are 45 degrees, then you have sometimes, you sit in a bathroom, and what happens? And they don't have the luxury that we have as well. Okay? No. Tamam. A foreign object is like what? Like maybe powder. Let's say powder. Blows against it. Although Ibn Hajar has a say pertaining if it is something that is pure like sand. If sand blows against it, by Imam al-Ramli, sand does not actually, is not considered something that will make your istinja invalid if something foreign has attached to it. Because it's something that is firstly, it is something that is dry and it is pure, like sand that has blown. Maybe you were sitting on the ground because, yeah, the ulama is still speaking about what Jamaatul Muslimin. You go into the desert and you sit. So if sand blows against there, then it's permissible for you still to wipe it clean. Another condition is that Allah yujawiz as-safha wal-hashafa. That impurity must not go beyond the safha. The safha is basically, if you have the buttocks and someone, when he gets up from the standing position, everything that closes up in the middle section, everything that closes up, that is called the what? The safha. Okay? Meaning that najasa that came out, that stool and the feces that came out, it must not go beyond that point. Because if it goes onto the buttocks, then that you're going to wipe from the buttocks, it's not called istinja anymore. It's going to be considered as a outer part of the body. Jama'ah with me? So if you wipe, the wiping must be where? The wiping must be, it must stay in the channel basically. Stay the channel. Yeah. It's the safha. And it should not go beyond. And from a male point of view, when he urinates, that urine must not go beyond the head of the male organ. Tamam? The urine must not go beyond let's see, the concision area like I could say now. If it goes beyond that also, if it runs down also, and then istinja is not permissible anymore. Now you have to wash it with water. Istinja bil hajar is not permissible. Meaning you can't just wipe now. Tamam? Another condition is that it must be أن يكون بثلاث مسحات أو بثلاث مسحات. It must be with 3 wipes. It is compulsory, you must do 3 wipes. When you wash with water, Jamaatul Muslimin, mashallah, if you wash with water, how many times must you wash? How many times? We're talking about what is compulsory. How many times must you wash? It's gone. No. If you wash once, and the impurity is gone, then once with water suffices. But when you're doing only, you're not going to wash with water now, you're only going to do the wipe. You're only going to do al-istinja bil hajar. If you're only going to do that, you're only going to do the wipe, then you have to wipe 3 times. It's compulsory to wipe 3 times. So if you wipe once and it's almost gone, and you wipe twice and it's gone actually, you must wipe another time. But if you wipe 3 times and the najasa is still there, the impurity is still there, then you must wipe another 4, 5, but it's recommended to keep it what? Odd numbers now. So, for example, you wipe and you saw the toilet paper is now clean, and that was your 4th wipe. Now you add another wipe. It was put it an extra, an odd number. Allah. No. There's something else actually I wanted to mention. We mentioned that there shouldn't be anything that anything foreign that is attached itself to the feces or the urine. There's something I just want to mention is that by using a wet wipe, you're actually putting something foreign. Many people, they make the mistake, they wipe, but they wipe with what? A wet wipe. Istinja is permissible to do, but it must not be some. The moment you're going to put wetness onto it, you're putting a what? A foreign object onto it. And the moment you put a foreign object onto it, then you have to wash it with water. So a wet wipe won't work. Am I with me? So you either use toilet paper, just clean, or you use toilet paper with water or water. Now, a wet toilet paper. So, first thing I want to say is not that it's wrong, it's haram. No, you can use a wet wipe, you can use a wet toilet paper, but the thing is that is not considered as istinja. Meaning, if you go make salah like that, your salah won't be permissible because you did not make istinja. For you to make proper istinja is either with water or with something that is a hajar, with these conditions we're still busy explaining. And that what is because normally there's a slight effect that stays behind. That effect is pardoned from the Sharia. But the moment you use something wet and a foreign like water is not going to go onto it, now you have to wash it with water. You have to wash it with water. Tamam? And he also comes in, inshallah ta'ala, Sayyid will probably explain to you, our mothers that wipe their children with wipes. No. It's a nice masala. Because the reality is that your baby is still full of najis. We know that normally the poo spreads beyond the buttocks of the baby. But what does the mother sometimes do is they wipe the babies with wet wipes. Allah. Which is not a problem, but your baby is still considered full of najasa. The problem might come in where is when you're making salah and your baby comes to you and he starts holding on to you and you pick him up or something like that. Now you're holding something that is there's najis on. And then your salah is actually invalid. And that's why our elders, something very nice that our elders used to do. I remember they used to wash the bum and the front part, and then they used to take so they cleaned it, it's clean. And then they used to take the cloth, and then they used to make it wet, and then they made it run so over the bum of the baby and over the front part of the baby. Now that is what we call now the ghusl. That is now the istinja. Now you're cleaning it. It's the same. It's like if feces had to come onto my hand here, and I wipe it, it's not permissible, isn't it? We said the wipe is only, the istinja is only for the private parts. But if I just wipe here, is it permissible for me to make salah? If I take a wet wipe and I just wipe it, is it permissible? It's not, because you must wash it. I think Sayyid must have explained to you the difference between a masah and a ghusl. A wipe and a wash. The wash is water must flow over the limb, and the wipe is just I can take a wet hand and just wipe. Like in wudu, the head can be, it's a wipe. If I just wet my hands, so my hands is clump and I just wipe over my head. But the rest of the limbs is what? Must be washed. I can't just do this and then I wipe it like that. No. It must be washed. Water must run and drip from that limb. No. So that is something our mothers need to take cognizance from, inshallah ta'ala. Allah. So using a wet wipe is going to necessitate that you must use water now after that. So it's fine. But that is not considered as istinja. But by using a toilet paper, now you're getting the sunnah of what? Using first like a hajar, that will now be considered as a hajar. And then if you use water after that, you're adding to the sunnahs of your istinja. Mahum? No. Fadal? Clean. Now, pertaining this condition is that's not permissible. But we can make sure about that. But it's not permissible because that wiping actually you have to wipe and then that what is in between. So first thing you have to wipe properly clean, meaning when you wipe it, there must be nothing left on, say on the toilet paper. And then after that, because there will still be maybe a color just at least or something like that, and that is ma'fu anhu. That is actually pardon from the Sharia point of view. But the moment you're going to add something else, water or so, then it becomes impossible. No. And we said also it must be 3 wipes, 3 wipes. No, it's compulsory 3 wipes. You have to do 3 wipes. We said with a wash, you can do 1 wash if it cleans the area. But with wipes, if I wiped it once and the area is clean, sometimes people when they, do a number 2, alhamdulillah, it comes very nice out and it falls very nice. There's actually nothing that goes anywhere else. So, so I wipe. There's nothing on the toilet paper. There's nothing on the hajar. Let's call it a hajar, because whatever you're going to use, there's nothing on that. You wipe. There's nothing on there, but you have to wipe 3 times. But when we say you have to wipe 3 times, our time is probably up now. No. When we say, what time is it? Till 1:30. I say end of 1:30. Okay. Let's go quick through it. Remember, Jama'at al-Muslimin, when we say hajar, say example, I use a piece of cloth to wipe. It's not necessary it must be 3 stones. It must basically be 3 wipes. So I can use a piece of cloth. I use the one end, then I use the middle, and I use the bottom end. Or I use a stone. I use 1 corner, then I use another corner, and I use a 3rd corner. Or you can use 1 stone. Maybe you use the stone and then you wash the edge off, and then you use the stone, you wash the edge off. So long every time you use it, it is a clean edge that you use. Tamam? But it must be 3, it's compulsory, there has to be 3 wipes. Tamam? No, they may have to dry it off. You have to dry it afterwards now. No. No, but that's water. When we use water, no, then you can wash your whole body with water. The najasa can go on your whole body and you can rinse your whole body, you'll be pure after that. We're talking about Jama'at al-Muslim. This is all about what? Only using the hajar. Only the hajar, using only toilet paper. Meaning, someone goes to the toilet, he wipes his bum thrice, toilet paper, and then he got just up. And he went to take wudu, he makes salah. Is his salah correct? His salah is correct. If the conditions are there. He must have wiped it until nothing can come off from his. And that what is in between his safha. What did you say was the safha? The channel. No. It is pardoned. It's pardoned from a Sharia point of view. No. The other condition is that it must clean the section. It must clean the section. I mean, also, that what you wipe with, it must be tahir, it must be pure. These actually conditions also of the istinja, that it must be something that is pure that you're using. وأن يكون قالعا, coming again back to the, so basically you can see it overlaps the conditions of the hajar. It comes here exactly the same now. وأن يكون قالعا, it must remove. وأن يكون محترما, it must be something that, عفوا, وألا يكون محترما, it must not be something that has honor in it. تمام؟ جميل. No. Allah. So can I ask quickly a question before we go on? Or are there any questions before we go on onto the etiquettes of the?
No, I can check. So if the say najis, or say you're in the toilet and there's like a splash, and that goes into the area that's not the safa, then what should you do to clean it? Basically, if there's wetness also.
So basically, you're sitting on the if someone is sitting on the toilet pot and he drops maybe, and then it splashes up now. That splashes up is like foreign najasa that has touched him now. Onto his buttocks now. Foreign najasa has touched his buttocks, and if foreign najasa is like najasa came onto my hand. Yeah, you can't just wipe now. First thing, it's already out of the area. Tamam? It's already out of the area. Even if it had to be in the area because a foreign object actually has touched it. The najasa won't suffice there. You have to wash with water. You have to wash with water. You have to wash with water. Any other questions? Tamam.
In terms of the direction of the wiping.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Sharia prescriptive in the direction of the wiping? So should you wipe backwards or can it be anyway?
Tamam. A very good question. That is in the etiquettes of, obviously, of how to wipe. There's a way actually how to wipe. You start from the right, the front, and then you go to the back, and then you give it a turn like that to the front, and then the third wipe, you come from the left again, you go back, and then that is basically some of the etiquettes of how the 3 wipes is. Now, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us understanding, inshallah ta'ala. Amen. طيب. Tamam. But Jamaatul Muslimin, obviously the best is, if you have water at home, the best is what? To use water. To use water with it. To use the hajar in the water. Naam. To use the hajar in the water. Naam. And some people that go like travel or go camping, maybe the camping guys they can maybe try the hajar one day on its own. No. Yeah. It's nice to actually, implementing the knowledge is something beautiful. No. And then maybe just implement it, and then after that you go make istinja proper with water. Yeah. No. Allah grant us understanding of that. No. But that is permissible, like we say, if there's no water, it's permissible to wipe, but with those conditions, it must not move beyond the safha, and the hashafa. It must be 3 wipes. Nothing foreign must attach to it, and these conditions that we mentioned now.
But it's not a requirement that if there is water, you must first use water, and then.
No, you can. Someone can now, with water, if there's water there, you can go to the bathroom and you can just use what? The hajar. You can just use the hajar and you come out and you take wudu and you make salah, and the salah will be correct. Salah will be correct now. But like we say, the afdal, the better of everything is to use the hajar and then the water. No. And then some people use the hajar afterwards to dry off as well. We know that now. Allah grant us understanding. Ameen ya Rabbil Alamin. Now, طيب. Some of the etiquettes of obviously using how to relieve yourself. The Shaykh is speaking about here. He says, وَيَجْتَنِبُ اسْتِقْبَالَ الْقِبْلَةِ وَاسْتِدْبَارَهَا فِي الصَّحْرَاءِ. If you in an open area, someone is going to the desert or whatever, or in a forest, then it's compulsory for him not to face the Qibla, nor with his front, nor with his back. So he shouldn't face the Qibla with his front, nor with his back, but rather the Qibla should be either on his right or on his left. Now. No, طيب, Jameen. So that is the point that we're going to get to now, and that is the Shaykh is saying here, في الصحراء, meaning in an open area. In an open area. So meaning if you're not in an open area, then it is actually, although it is not recommended, but it's actually permissible then to, like you're at home, you have a what? You have a toilet pot that is facing Qibla or that is the back. But remember, there's a hole in between. You have a hole that is covering you. But sitting open like that in the desert, go hiding from someone, just sitting open like that, then you should not face. It's compulsory not to face the Qibla, not to also put your back to the Qibla. Now. No. طيب. And we said this is all if there's no satir in between you, if there's no barrier in between you and the Qibla. And the barrier should at least be they say the barrier should be ثلاثة أذرع. What is ثلاثة أذرع? It should not be away from you by 3. What is a ذراع? An arm length now. The arm length, meaning that barrier mustn't be away from you 3 arm lengths. Now, that's approximately, you can say, 1.5 meters. So if there's a barrier away from you more than 1.5 meters, then you must know, alhamdulillah, our toilets I don't think we have toilets that are so big that the barrier. Ajib, today people have toilets that is open plan toilets. In the room, first the toilets was like at the back on the end of the ground. Then they brought it closer. Then they built it against the house. But it was on the outside of the house. Then they brought it in the house. Now they put it in the room. En suite. Now it's no more in the room. Now it's an open plan. It's, your bedroom is the toilet. Became the toilet. SubhanAllah. Allah grant us understanding. Allah protect us. Now. Yeah. So if it is 3 arm lengths away from you, then you must still, because now you must implement the ruling of not facing. And if you're also sitting maybe somewhere else and there is a barrier in between you and the Qibla, then the barrier must at least be ثلثي ذراع. What's that ثلثي ذراع? 2/3. 2/3, thuluthai dhira'. What's it, 2/3 of a dhira' now? We can say it's approximately. We work on. Okay, the dhira' is different, from the scholars, they differ, but let's work on 50 centimeters. 2/3 of it is how much? Say 35 centimeters. At least it must be something that is 35 centimeters high. Now. Then also he says وَيَجْتَنِبُ الْبَوْلَ. Yes. It's very low. No, yeah, we're speaking about someone that is sitting on the ground. Yeah, on the eastern toilet, yes. Speaking of someone that's in the desert now, or in the forest. You must at least have something that is. So that's why either sit behind something or so. Sometimes you have a big tree trunk that fell down. That is, obviously it's not a pathway. It's not a pathway. Or behind a tree. Not a tree that people will go sit under using shade. Okay? Now, it's actually a beautiful hadith of the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that when we sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went into the desert, this is one of the mu'jizat of him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the Sahabi said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came to the tree and he took the tree by the branch and he dragged the tree, and the tree started walking behind the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he went to the other tree and he dragged it until it closed him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam up, and then sallallahu alayhi wa sallam obviously relieved himself. And when he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was done, he told the trees, go back to your place, and they went back to their place. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's why Imam al-Busayri says, جاءت إليه الأشجار ساجدة تمشي على ساق بلا قدم. The trees came to him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, walking on its roots, bila qadami, without feet. No. That was one of the mu'jizat of him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And it also, you should not urinate in stagnated water or stagnant water. Running water, if it's a lot of running water, then it's permissible, although it's also not recommended. It's permissible. But little running water is also makruh. So you have a small stream, a very small stream, it's not recommended, it's makruh to urinate in it. Naam. Allah. And also, you should not, we all know the etiquettes, should not urinate under trees that has fruits. Naam. And then there's some etiquettes that you shouldn't, on a pathway that people are walking, in places where there's shade for people, where people normally go sit over a hole, because it's actually if you go into a desert, you must make a small hole actually. And then you do it, you relieve yourself in that hole, then you move to another position next to it, and then you actually make istinja. That is how it's supposed to be. Because so that the water doesn't splash onto the feces and then splash onto your leg. But sometimes people, they find a hole already in the ground. They shouldn't go in the hole because it might be a hole of what? While you're busy. And then something comes out there and he make istinja for you. No. And obviously, then there's many etiquettes of using the when relieving yourself, like not speaking in the toilet. There's many etiquettes. Going in with a fez, putting something on your feet, reciting the du'as when going in. And we'll end off now. One of the things is actually, there's something that I want to mention to you, and that is places where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not mentioned, Allah is not mentioned. Those places normally are places that it has a negative effect on a person. And that's why by reciting the dua, it protects you from that negativity. So if you have a place that is just shayateen in it and so, then it actually it has a certain effect on your soul. I remember Shaykh Muhammad once he mentioned here actually in a dars, he says that I think it was a advocate, I think. This advocate, his job was to go into prisons in and out, but he then told his, I think if I'm quoting correct, he told his grandmother that every time he go into the prison, he comes out there, he's like extremely tired. Extremely tired. So she told him, why don't you recite the dua when you go into the toilet? Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubthi wal khaba'ith. He said when he recited it, after he has recited that, he went in and he came out like normal, like nothing actually drained him after that. Now, and that's why sometimes, those people, they are, subhanallah, our elders sometimes, al-hikmatu dallatul mu'min. Wherever you can find wisdom, you must take. Our elders sometimes, we are ulama, but our elders can teach us. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding, insha'Allah ta'ala. Now then he says also, you should not speak, also you should also not face the sun and the moon. Now, what is opinions on that? And Imam al-Nawawi actually is on the opinion that you can actually face it with your back. You should not face it with your front. And there's others that says facing it or not facing it wouldn't make a difference. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us khayr and barakah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the proper knowledge to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are there any questions before we wrap up? The whole now. Now, if there's a natural hole, if there's a hole there already, then don't go, because there might be something in it now. No. See, whether it is something physical or sometimes some spiritual things also live in holes and so. And sometimes by urinating over it and just doing it, then he becomes a bit angry, and then other things come from there now. No. Hold on.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Shaykh, if you are certain that the covering of the walls or for you to be able to leave yourself, Shaykh, then if it's more than 3 arm lengths, does that mean that the istinja is invalid? Yeah.
No. So when we say this is about the etiquettes of actually relieving yourself. The istinja now we're done with the etiquettes just. So the istinja is still valid. The istinja is valid. Everything is valid. It's just that you should not face, when you relieve yourself, you should not face the qibla in an open space. Not face, or let your back also face the qibla in an open space now. But the istinja is valid. The istinja is valid now. No.
So, you mentioned that you can't use wet wipes, doesn't count as istinja. But then in terms of if you don't have anything that would classify as hajar or water, but you have, say, wet wipes, then how would that then?
If someone only have wet wipes, for example, it's either he's going to dry out the wet wipes. That's one way. Or if he's going to now wait 3 hours that the wet wipe must dry out, then he can wipe with it, because that's now the only thing that he has to wipe. But then unfortunately he still has najasa on him. He still has. Then he will be considered of someone what they call faqid al-tahurain. Someone that doesn't have none of the, you don't have something to clean him basically with his back part. And then he must, unfortunately, a person like that, he has to, whatever he can do, clean himself in whatever position. So basically he's going to make salah with najasa on him. But those salahs that he made with najasa on him, he has to repeat those salah.
You end up making salah to istinja properly. So like say if you only have wet wipes on you now, then wipe with the wet wipes.
Yeah.
But before you make salah, make sure you istinja first.
Now, very good point. That the if someone wiped with a wet wipe, example, it is clean, maybe there's nothing there. You still consider that you have najasa on you, is just, you can't make salah with it. So if I walk around, I'm walking just around with najasa on me. Okay? That istinja is not valid, but afterwards I come at home, example, and then I make istinja, that will suffice then. That will suffice. Now I wash it with water and that will suffice now. Hold on.
They relieve themselves. So they tend still to drop, you know what I mean?
No.
How would you overcome that?
That is another mas'ala. I'm not sure if you got it in this book already, but that is a mas'ala of they call salusul bawl, someone that is constantly dripping. Now, did you do that already? You didn't do it. Okay, inshallah ta'ala. Sayyid Ahmad will explain that, inshallah ta'ala. But there's certain conditions and criteria that to overcome that, inshallah ta'ala. Now, any other questions before we? طيب سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.